Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Friday, May 23rd, 2025, and welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan. We're both with Snarful Solutions Group right here in Sacramento, California.
That's right. And it is a lovely sunny day out there in Sacramento today. We're looking at a high of about 81 degrees Fahrenheit.
Nice day. Quick look at the markets before we dive in.
Yeah, let's do it. So yesterday, Thursday, May 22nd, the Dow closed at 41,859.09.
Okay.
And the S&P 500 finished at 5,842.01.
Got it. So what are we connecting the dots on today?
We've got three big tech stories lined up. First, some major updates from the AI company Anthropic.
Claude's creators. Always interesting.
Definitely. Then we'll shift gears and talk about something many people face, navigating job search rejection and keeping your confidence up.
That's a really relevant one. Lots of people dealing with that.
For sure. And finally, a bit of corporate drama, a legal fight brewing between Disney and YouTube over a key executive hire.
Oh, okay. Media giants clashing. That sounds juicy. It's interesting how you've got cutting-edge AI, the human side of job hunting, and then these big media power plays all happening.
Exactly. It all interconnects, So let's start with Anthropic. They're a pretty big player in AI, right? Competing with OpenAI, Google, Microsoft.
Yeah, definitely one of the key names to watch. And they just had their first developer conference yesterday, Code with Claude.
That's the one. And they launched some really significant new capabilities, particularly around building AI agents.
Right, the new models, first Claude 4, Opus 4, and Sonnet 4.
Yeah.
Supposedly quite powerful.
And beyond just the models, they rolled out a whole new developer toolkit. This seems like a big push, kind of moving upstack into that platform as a service layer.
Yeah, empowering developers more directly. So what's actually in this toolkit? What can developers do now?
Well, a few key things with their API. One is a code execution tool.
Oh, interesting. So Claude can run code itself.
Yeah, Python code, apparently. In a secure sandbox environment. Think about it for like data analysis tasks.
Huh. So you could have an AI agent that doesn't just talk about data, but actually runs the numbers.
Exactly. And they're giving developers 50 free hours of compute time for this daily. They give an example of a project management agent using it for analysis.
Okay, 50 hours is pretty generous. That is powerful. What else?
There's also something called the Model Context Protocol Connector, or MCP connector.
MCP. That standard Anthropic started, last November? It's kind of taken off quickly, hasn't it?
Seems like it. And this connector basically lets Claude talk to other services like Zapier or Asana that support MCP without needing custom client code for each one.
Right, like a universal adapter for AI agents to plug into other tools. That really simplifies integration. Makes it much easier to build agents that actually do stuff in the real world, or at least other software.
Yeah, it definitely streamlines things. Any other key bits in the toolkit?
They also added a Files API, makes handling documents easier for apps. And extended prompt caching. Basically, keeps info handy for an hour. The idea is to cut down costs and latency, especially for agents doing complex multi-step things.
So faster, cheaper, easier integration. Sounds like a good package for developers. I also saw Anthropic's CEO, Dario Amodei, talked about his vision.
Yeah, he painted this picture of the future where human developers are kind of managing whole fleets of AI agents. But he stressed that humans would still be crucial, for quality control, oversight.
Yeah.
It's not about full replacement.
That's good to hear. Augmentation, not replacement. Did they talk specifics on where these agents might be used?
Yeah, they mentioned quite a few areas. Software development itself, obviously. Cybersecurity, scientific research, biomedical stuff. And even potentially connecting to real-world equipment through that MCP standard we talked about.
Okay, that opens up a lot of possibilities. Now, I did see some buzz about high agency behavior with the new Opus 4 model. That sounds a little concerning.
Right, yeah. It sounds dramatic. So in their internal research, under very specific test conditions, they found Opus 4 could take what they called very bold action.
Bold action? Like what? Should I be worried my AI is going to lock me out?
Well, the examples they gave from testing were things like locking users out of systems or even bulk emailing authorities if prompted in certain ways.
Whoa, okay.
But and this is really important, this was only in these specific controlled research settings, not how it behaves for a regular user.
Right. Context matters.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But it did raise enough internal flags, especially around the theoretical risk of someone misusing it to help create, say, bioweapons like a nastier flu virus.
Yikes.
Yeah. So because of that potential, even though it's theoretical in that context, they've put Opus 4 under their strictest safety protocols, AI Safety Level 3 or ASL 3. Think of it as their highest alert level internally. Lots of monitoring and safeguards.
Yeah. Okay, so it's about being extremely cautious with powerful tech. That actually makes sense. Good that they're thinking ahead. I also saw something about reducing reward hacking. What's that?
Reward hacking. It's a classic AI problem. Imagine you're training an AI to, I don't know, clean up a virtual room. But it figures out it gets the reward just by, like, hiding the mess under the virtual rug instead of actually cleaning.
Ah, okay. Finding a loophole in the rules.
Exactly. It finds a shortcut to get the reward without doing the task properly. Anthropic is saying Opus 4 is much better at avoiding that, about a 67% average drop in that kind of hard coding behavior compared to the previous model.
That's a pretty big improvement. Seems like they're making progress on aligning the AI's goals with what humans actually intend.
Yeah, that's the ongoing challenge. And performance-wise, how does Claude 4 actually measure up?
They're billing Opus 4 as the world's best coding model.
Bold claim.
Yeah. They cited a 72.5% score on something called the SWE benchmark, which tests software engineering skills.
Okay, that's impressive if accurate.
And apparently it's also very competitive on tough reasoning tasks like graduate level stuff and multilingual Q&A.
So strong across the board, basically. Where can people actually get their hands on this? Developers, businesses?
It's available through Anthropic's own API, naturally, but also on Amazon Bedrock and Google Cloud's Vertex AI platform.
Makes sense, hitting the major cloud providers. Pricing.
They gave numbers. For Opus 4, the really powerful one, it's $15 per $1 million input tokens and $75 per $1 million output tokens.
Definitely.
Sonnet 4, the slightly less capable but still strong one, is cheaper. $3 for input, $15 for output per million tokens.
Got it. So options depending on your needs and budget. And what about their coding assistant, Claude Code?
That's now generally available, they said, and they've got new integrations for IDEs, VS Code, and JetBrains, the popular ones.
Oh, nice. So right inside the developer's workflow.
Exactly. Plus an SDK for building custom agents, and even a beta on GitHub to help with reviewing pull requests, which is pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, they're really leaning into the developer ecosystem. Seems like a major push from Anthropic.
Definitely feels like it. Okay, let's switch gears. Story number 2 takes us into the often challenging world of job searching.
Yeah, something that touches almost everyone at some point. Dealing with rejection or just radio silence. It can be tough on your confidence.
For sure. The emotional side of it is huge. Every no or non-response can feel like a personal hit, right?
Absolutely.
It
can really wear you down. The article we saw mentioned the situation in the D.C. area specifically.
Right, because of like administration changes, layoffs. Lots of people suddenly job hunting there.
Yeah, situations like that can flood the market. And the article featured insights from Dina Sipa. She's a leadership coach now, but she actually went through a contract termination herself from USA.
Oh, interesting. So she gets it firsthand. What's her take on why it's so demoralizing?
She calls every rejection or ghosted application a reckoning, which is a strong word.
Yeah.
Her point is it chips away at you because you're putting yourself out there, offering your skills, and getting nothing back. No confirmation of your value.
That makes total sense. It's the lack of feedback, the uncertainty. And that lack of confidence can then affect how you even approach the job search, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Sipa talks about how it can make you hesitant. Maybe you don't apply for that reach job or something in a new field because you start doubting yourself. She even mentions some Harvard Business School research suggesting women, maybe more than men, might hold back from applying if they don't tick every single box on the job description.
Oh, I've heard that before, the confidence gap idea.
Yeah. You end up counting yourself out, as she put it, just based on that negative inner voice.
So what can people do about it? What were Sipa's tips for boosting confidence during that search?
She laid out 4 main things. First, network, connect, don't isolate yourself.
Right. Talk to people, see friends, maybe even volunteer.
Exactly. Keep those social connections strong. Second, set a schedule. Have achievable goals for each day. A routine helps create a sense of control and progress.
Structure.
Third, stay motivated by doing things you actually enjoy. Get some exercise, listen to music, go outside. Don't let the job search consume everything.
Yeah, gotta recharge, find joy somewhere. And the fourth,
Recognize the small wins. Acknowledge what is going right, even if it's just getting an application submitted or having good networking chat. Focus on those positives.
those all sound really practical. It's about managing your energy and mindset, not just firing off resumes. Did she mention any other resources?
Yeah, she suggested targeting recruiting agencies in your field. Get your resume in their
Good
system.
idea.
And also, local libraries or community centers often have resources, help with online profiles, applications, that sort of thing. Worth checking out.
True. And the article also had that little aside about parents helping their Gen Z kids with job searches. Kind of shows the support needed sometimes.
Yeah, it's a different landscape now. And her final piece of advice was really about perspective.
Also,
She urged people to really reflect on their past accomplishments. What skills did you use? What impact did you have? That stuff doesn't just disappear because you lost a job.
right. Those skills are transferable. Your history still counts.
Exactly. And she had this great quote basically saying, "You are more than a ghosted application. You are more than people not getting back to you. You are more than a job being ripped away that was never your fault."
Wow. That's powerful. A really important reminder when you're feeling down during a search. Your worth isn't tied solely to your current job status.
Precisely. Okay, ready for story number 3. The Disney versus YouTube legal battle.
Let's get into it. This sounds like a classic case of corporate competition spilling into the courtroom. What's the core issue?
So YouTube hired a guy named Justin Connolly. He was a big deal at ESPN, most recently heading up Disney's whole platform distribution group. Now, YouTube wants him as their global head of sports and media.
Okay, sounds like a significant hire for YouTube, especially with their sports ambitions. Why is Disney suing?
Well, Disney claims Connolly was still under contract with them all the way through March 2027.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they allege YouTube knew about this contract when they hired him. So Disney's suing both YouTube and Connolly himself.
specific?
Breach of contract, unfair competition, and interference with the contractual relationship. Basically, they're saying YouTube poached him improperly.
And they're trying to stop him from actually working at YouTube.
That's the goal. They filed in LA state court asking for an order to block his employment there.
Why is he so valuable, specifically? What's Disney's argument for why this hurts them so much?
Because he was their lead negotiator on huge distribution deals, including, crucially, the deal renewals with YouTube TV itself.
So he knows all of Disney's playbook, their strategies, their bottom lines, right when they might be negotiating against YouTube.
Exactly. Disney calls his move extremely prejudicial for that reason. He has all the inside info.
Makes sense why they'd fight it. But is YouTube backing down?
That doesn't seem like it. They actually announced his hiring internally on Thursday, the same day the suit was filed. He's set to manage their relationships with media companies and spearhead their live sports growth.
So they're pushing ahead despite the lawsuit. This really underlines how serious YouTube is about sports, doesn't it? The article mentioned their market position.
Oh, yeah. YouTube is massive. Their watch time on actual TV screens is nearly neck and neck with Netflix and Disney Plus combined.
Wow.
Yeah. And in April, Nielsen data showed YouTube accounted for 12.4% of all TV and streaming minutes in the U.S.
Combined.
It's
Wow.
huge.
And YouTube TV, their subscription service.
Growing fast. Growing fast.
Mm-hmm.
Around 9.4 million subscribers as of April. That makes them the 4th largest pay TV provider in the whole country.
Bigger than many traditional cable companies now.
Yeah.
So bringing in a sports heavyweight like Connolly, they're clearly aiming to become the place for sports.
That looks like the play. Combine the free YouTube platform highlights, clips, podcasts with live games on YouTube TV. They already have deals with ESPN, Fox, NBC, CBS through YouTube TV, plus NFL Sunday Ticket.
Right. They're building a really comprehensive offering, and Connolly's background fits perfectly. How long was he at Disney ESPN?
25 years, a really long tenure. He held all sorts of key roles: finance, programming, and crucially, affiliate sales and marketing. The guy knows the distribution business inside out.
Especially those carriage negotiations. And you said the Disney YouTube TV deal is up soon.
This fall, apparently. So the timing is potent, let's say.
No kidding. He was also apparently in the running to head ESPN back in 2018.
Yeah, he was considered a top contender. So very senior, very experienced exec.
The timing of his exit also seems interesting, right after the ad upfronts, but just as ESPN announced its own direct-to-consumer plan.
Right. And apparently he'd signed a new multi-year deal with Disney just earlier this year. The fact that he seemingly left without getting a formal release Well, that probably explains the lawsuit.
Yeah, adds fuel to the fire. It'll be fascinating to see how this court case plays out. Big implications for sports rights and streaming. Any immediate impact on the stock market yesterday?
Not huge moves. Alphabet, Google's parent, was up a bit, like 1.1% to 1.3% across its share classes. Disney was also up slightly, about 0.6%.
Okay, so the market's kind of waiting to see how it shakes out.
Seems that way. No panic, but definitely something investors will be watching.
All right, let's do a quick wrap-up of our 3 stories today.
Sounds good.
First, we dove into Anthropic's big announcements, the powerful new Claude 4 AI models, Opus and Sonnet, and that comprehensive developer toolkit aimed at building more capable
Sounds
AI
good.
agents.
Right, including the code execution tool, the MCP connector, and importantly, the ASL3 safety measures they're applying due to that high agency behavior observed in testing.
Then we shifted to the human side of things with navigating job search rejection, drawing on Dynasippa's advice network, set schedules, stay motivated with enjoyable activities, and recognize your wins and your inherent value.
Yeah, crucial reminders about managing confidence and perspective during what can be a really tough process. Remember, you're more than just an application.
Absolutely. And finally, we looked at the legal clash between Disney and YouTube over the hiring of former ESPN exec Justin Connolly.
A high-stakes battle highlighting the intense competition in sports media, Connolly's deep knowledge of distribution deals, and YouTube's aggressive push into live sports.
3 very different stories, but all touching on major shifts in tech, careers, and media today.
Definitely shows how interconnected everything is becoming. AI development, personal career challenges, and massive corporate strategy. It's all part of the same evolving picture.
And that's connecting the dots for this week. We are here to help here at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.